Reform faces a split as Nigel Farage hits back over messianic criticism. I'm going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that the reforms faces a split as Farage hits back over messianic criticism. Nigel Farage calls Rupert Lowe utterly, completely wrong after Reform MP criticised his leadership role. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and shares across social media so others are notified of this video. I should also point out at the time of this recording, there's been just a report, breaking news of a report, that Rupert Lowe could be facing some kind of charges against him, possibly, over some allegations that have been made against him. So that is still literally in development at the time of that I'm recording this, guys. So I just want to put that on the record there before we go any further on this. This is once again another example, and that's why I've been putting up those community posts around reform, because I know I have reform voters who are hell-bent on believing that reform is going to make everything better for them and that they are a different party. Well, no, they're not, because they have disputes within their own party as well. They're just like every other political party here. And here you see Rupert Lowe here, who's looking to try and take power, perhaps, here, or trying to push and nudge and try to dismay Nigel Farage and his reputation. And ever since what's been happening with Donald Trump, Nigel Farage has been on the back foot a little bit here, because he can't exactly fully go on board with what Donald Trump has been and JD Vance have been saying. And that really does put Nigel Farage in a pickle, because obviously he wants to be all in on MAGA, all in on Trump, all in on America sort of thing. But he can't fully go on board with that, because then he will lose supporters back here in the UK. So he's trying to balance a line here. And Rupert Lowe here is looking like he might be taking an opportunity here to try and sweep some powers here in Reform UK himself. But this is the situation that's happening right now. This is going to be a very tasty couple of days, that is for sure. But Reform UK, when you think they're all perfect, that's what some people in the comments really think. Guys, like, I don't know how many times I have to expose just the silliness of this not political party, this company. It's a company that you subscribe to, because if you are a Reform subscriber, there's no such thing as membership, is subscriber. You pay in and you get nothing in return. That's what you do when you pay in to Reform UK. It's really important to emphasize that as well. And I love when somebody got mad when I said that, because they don't like the truth being told. At least if you become a member of any of the other political parties, you actually get things back in return, whereas Reform, you get nothing. Reform UK is facing a split at the top of the party after Nigel Farage called one of his most prominent MPs utterly completely wrong after calling him the messianic leader of a protest party. So Farage hit out at Rupert Lowe after the Great Yarmouth MP and former Southampton FC chair criticised his leadership publicly in an interview. Lowe, who was touted as a replacement leader by Elon Musk earlier this year, had said reform needs a proper plan and more policy and spokesperson. He also suggested he could leave the party unless it was centred less around Farage's messianic leadership. The MP's criticism comes after internal reform speculation about tensions with Farage, especially after Musk's intervention. Asked by the Daily Mail if Farage would make a good Prime Minister, Lowe said it's too early to know whether Nigel will deliver the goods. He can only deliver if he surrounds himself with the right people. Nigel is a fiercely independent individual and is extremely good at what we have done so far. He has got messianic qualities. Will those messianic qualities distill into a sage leadership? I don't know. Farage responded to Lowe in an interview on Talk TV, saying it was utterly completely wrong about Reform being a protest party. He also pointed out that Lowe was already on the front bench of the party, adding perhaps he wants to be Prime Minister, half of the Commons do. Well, of course, there's lots of politicians who want to be Prime Minister. Some of them just want to be in there to make a difference. It's different for everyone. We're not a protest party, and he's on the front bench. What is he talking about? With only 5 people, you can't really have a shadow cabinet, can you? We've got a lot of development to do, but we're absolutely not a protest party, he said. Asked if Lowe had been told to wind his neck in, Farage said there was no point telling him what to do or what not to do. The fact is we are making huge strides. Pressed on whether Lowe would be an MP at the next election, Farage says, I hope so. He seems to be taking a tone that suggests he won't accept us. During the interview, Lowe suggested that he could leave the Reform Party if it does not change before the next election by structuring itself with less dependence on Farage. We have to change from being a protest party led by the Messiah into being a proper structure with a front bench, which we don't have. We have to start behaving as if we are leading and not merely protesting. This is the thing about the Reform UK Party, guys. If it wasn't for Nigel Farage, they would not have gotten the MPs they had gotten. It's because of him that they have that. Now, if you take Nigel Farage out of that party, how many people are going to listen to the rest of those MPs? How many of people are going to pay attention to Richard Tice? How many people are going to pay attention to Rupert Lowe? How many people are going to pay attention to the other MPs? Nigel Farage is the reason that people are backing him, because they believe he is many people who back Reform UK believe Nigel Farage is the right person for the job, that he is the leader of their party, that he knows what they are doing. That's the general consensus. That's what their members and supporters believe, and their subscribers believe. Whether you want agree or disagree. Maybe I should do a poll and ask Reform voters what's more important. Who do you think is more important to you, Nigel Farage or Rupert Lowe, Richard Tice? Maybe I should just put that poll out there, because that will speak volumes in itself. But I'm sure if I said down in the comments right now to any Reform viewers watching this, who is the most important person in Reform UK right now, you'll say Nigel Farage, won't you? But the thing is, if Nigel Farage is not there, who do you back then in Reform UK? Or do you back the party at all? Nigel is a messianic figure who is at the core of everything, but he has to learn to delegate. Excuse me. Apologies. As not everything can go through one person. So we have to start developing policy which is going to change the way we govern. I'm not going to be by Nigel's side at the next election unless we have a proper plan to change the way that we govern from top to bottom. We can't raise the hopes of people who are frustrated by the way we are governed and then flunk it. In the interview, he also suggested MPs should be paid about $250,000. But that in the chamber should be half the number, as referred to the BBC as a cancer at the heart of Britain. This guy wants to be paid, he thinks MPs should be paid £250,000. Like, is what, 150, do they not earn enough money? I mean, the guy is already remember, this guy is wealthy. Okay, remember that. A businessman and the former chair of Southampton FC, Lowe said of himself, I sit in Parliament with my experience in farming, various risk-taking business, and I also speak with a plain tongue. I'm a bit like the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. But funnily enough, the one-eyed man is usually in charge at the end in the land of the blind. Musk, the world's richest man, has hinted at a possible £100 million donation to Reform, but later said Farage doesn't have what it takes after a spat over the party's decision to distance himself from the far-right leader Tommy Robinson. At that time, Musk said, I have not met Rupert Lowe, but his statements online and I have read make a lot of sense. So this is where this has all come from. Lowe has been more favourable towards Robinson and has a substantial grassroots following among Reform members, as well as high levels of engagement on social media. He appears to be the only one out of Farage's 5 MPs not to be at the party's fundraising event. Chris Philps, the Shadow Home Secretary, said that in intensive international warfare at the top of Reform, claiming that their MPs are more concerned with their own egos, advancing their own personal ambitions rather than standing up for the British people. With one of Farage's most senior MPs doubting his leadership abilities and admitting that Reform is a protest party with no plans, it is clear that Reform are not serious and will always put self-interest above the national interest, says Philps. The public deserve solutions, not just empty slogans. Only the Conservatives, under the Kemi Bagnot's leadership, can be trusted with a real opposition, a real alternative, and this dreadful Labour government. I don't think so. Not after no. I think after 14 years of you guys, we're going to say no to you guys. No, I think we'll say no to that, Chris Phelps. I mean, you made a complete prat of yourself enough times. Let's not have you make more of a fool of yourself. Oh wait, you're still going to continue to do that. Oh well. But that is the situation, and now things are obviously getting heated at the moment. Like I said, with over Rupert Lowe. And I'm sure we'll be covering more of this as time goes on. But, oh boy, things are not perfect and rosy at Reform UK. And there it is, you guys saying that Reform UK was a perfect party, that they're different, that they're not like the establishment. And yet here we are, seeing themselves as ultra egos, wanting to earn £250,000 a year And yet, where are they calling out, they're crying out for more to help you with the cost of living crisis? Have they criticised the government? Have they been shouting about, the increases, I don't know, in your council tax rises? How about your water bills? Oh, what about your energy bills? All of them are going up. Have Reform UK stood up for you and said that's wrong? Let me know down in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys think of this story as well. Now, if you found this video informative or interested in any way, shape or form, hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others will notify this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. It does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so too by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. And you actually get stuff in return, unlike Reform UK. You can also check out other stuff in the links descriptions below as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.